evening, sports and bubblegum fans. Welcome back to ASMR Sports. Some time ago, probably like a month and a half or so ago, I was at the local Dollar Tree. Now, I go to the Dollar Tree a fair bit these days because they actually made a new one that's very close to me. It's kind of amazing, actually, because this Dollar Tree is sort of the only store in the area it sits, and it's kind of a miracle that they even built one there. And I'm sure everybody who lives around it is pretty grateful because now they have a store where they can kind of get food items and pretty much everything. I mean, well, not everything, but a lot of stuff. I mean, it's kind of like a department store, I feel, in a lot of ways. Not really a department store, but I don't know, just a general purpose kind of store. A general store, as they used to say. Pardon me. But anyways, I was over there recently, and or a while ago. I've been over there recently as well, but when I got these, I was over there a while ago. And I was just kind of looking, what kind of candy items might make for some interesting videos. I think still to this day, the biggest video, well, maybe one of the biggest, probably a top 5 video on this channel is when I did I did basically a review of all the flavors of Airheads, which is not that many. And I think the key is that when you do candy videos, you get to take a thumbnail of the packaging, and it's always very colorful and bright. So maybe this will get a lot of attention too. But anyways, I was at the Dollar Tree and I was noticing that they have a lot of flavors now of double bubble gum, and I've historically chewed double bubble gum on this channel, mostly because one time I was at Sam's Club and they had a giant box of it, which I also did a video of that got a lot of hits. And I've been working my way through that, but I unless I have some hiding somewhere, which is entirely possible, I think I'm completely out of that gum. So I think it's time to do a video on these now and see what kind of double bubble flavors the local Dollar Tree has. So if you have a Dollar Tree in your area, Dollar Tree is kind of one of those true dollar stores where everything, well, I shouldn't say everything, because they started to kind of include higher priced items in, various parts of the store. But generally speaking, 95% of stuff in there is all the same price, which used to be $1, but due to inflation, it's $1.25, and it's kind of funny that prices haven't gone up again because of the tariff situation. I mean, I gotta believe pretty much everything there comes from China, but I'm sure we'll see that if the tariffs, are proved to be kind of a thing that actually happens. So let's check out these flavors, and then we'll maybe start testing them. Now I'm a little bit unsure how I'm going to proceed with the testing, because with gum, you gotta chew it for a while. So it's not like taste testing candy where you can just chew it for 2 seconds and swallow it and give your impressions. This is a bit more of a commitment. Alright, so first of all, let's look at all these and see what we've got here. First we have gumballs, cotton candy flavored. Now there's 3 flavors of cotton candy gumballs in here. There's blue raspberry, cherry, and lemon, and it's interesting because all those flavors could be, just regular flavors. So are they going to be super sweet? Because that's what I think of when I think of cotton candy. But mostly the flavors, yeah, pretty much all the flavors, of double bubble do have some sourness to them, since they're generally fruit flavored. I wanted to see acidic component to here, but I don't see any like citric acid. If I look on like, well, certainly on these ones which are sour, there's going to be citric acid. Anyways, it'd be interesting to see what those taste like and whether they actually do sort of say, oh, they make me think like, oh yeah, that really is cotton candy flavored. Here we kind of have the classic little, midges, I'll call them, of double bubble gum in the 3 of the fruit flavors. Usually you'll see these kind of flavors along with just the bubblegum flavor one, which has a yellow and blue wrapper. I'm sure they had a bag of the bubblegum flavored ones by themselves, but those were kind of, boring, so I didn't get those. Not that these are particularly exciting, but at least there's a variety in here. One thing I will be interested to see is if the pieces of gum in here are like kind of like a solid shape, or if they have like these striations that I've seen on Double Bubble sometime, which basically just reduces the the volume and the weight of the gum, so it makes it a smaller piece but takes up as much space as a larger piece, a larger volume piece, a larger volume and weight piece. Alright, next up. Alright, 1 second, I'll clear my throat, but I'm gonna pause it. Okay. So this is something I've never, I think, even seen before. I saw it before buying it, but we've got Crybaby extra sour bubblegum. I'm a little bit worried it's going to be so sour. I just find it disgusting, but I actually think it's probably not going to be that sour. Like, not as sour as like a Warhead or something, but we'll see. It does say, caution, you'll only cry for 40 seconds, stay with it. Okay, wow, that's quite... So, this has 5 flavors: lemon, cherry, berry, orange, and apple. So, wow, so we've got 5 flavors here, 3 flavors here, and 3 flavors here. So that's like 25 flavors. No, it's 11, I believe, if my math is correct. So 11 flavors of gum to try here. And then the last type of gum we have is just a 1 flavor product. Looks like orange dreamsicle. So that sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, we all know what dreamsicles taste like, kind of vanilla and orange, sort of a creamy orange flavor. So with that, I think we're just going to dive right in, and I think we'll just go kind of in the order here. I've actually been mostly out of like double bubble gumballs for a while, but I didn't want to crack into these until I was ready to do a video, and I just didn't have time until now. So okay, well, one thing I'm seeing is that there's like almost no cherries. Definitely smell like a sweet, sugary kind of cotton candy scent. Alright, let's maybe get the wrapper. Alright, so let's give these a go. Maybe we'll start with a blue raspberry here. That little crack. Okay, it's very, very sweet. In fact, okay, we're back after an interruption, which actually ended up being perfect because have told you it was blue raspberry flavor if I didn't know, because anything raspberry flavored generally has a tartness to it. This did not have a tartness to it at all. It tasted very much like just a regular piece of bubblegum flavor, pink bubblegum. So I don't know. I guess that's what cotton candy gum tastes like. It's just like just a very small hint of flavor other than the sweet gum flavors. Let's try this cherry one. Okay. Yeah. So very, very similar kind of thing, where primary flavor is just that bubblegummy flavor, kind of sweetness, and then you get like a little hint of flavor. Kind of how if you drink like a LaCroix or an unsweetened flavored sparkling water, you just get like the essence of the fruit flavor. That's what this is, added to just a lot of sweetness. And typically when you have a cherry flavored item, it does have some tartness to it, since cherries of course are tart. But here you have none of that. So it's like, it's like the LaCroix of bubblegum. It's just that base sweet flavor of sugar. And then a little hint essence of the fruit. So, now I have to get rid of this gum. Okay. Now we're going to go for lemon. Now this is going to be really interesting, but actually not really, because I can kind of predict what it's going to taste like. So typically if you have a lemon flavored gum, my goodness, it's going to be very sour. Tastes like a lemon head. This is just going to be sweetness, just sugariness with a little hint of the lemon essence there, like kind of when you put a little bit of lemon in or kind of like a lemon rind or something, when they put that in sweets to make it sort of have a lemon essence to it. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like I have a great analogy. It's kind of like if you were chewing on a piece of just regular pink double bubble, and then you inhaled some lemon pledge surface cleaner. That's what this is. That's the experience here. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't dislike any of those, but for me, this is not really better than just a plain pink bubblegum double bubble. So I don't think I would get it again. All right. Let's do some traditional wrapped double bubbles in watermelon, grape, and apple flavor. While you cut that open, you just get a bunch of fruit. So if you ever get this, you know, in like a bucket, which it often comes in, you buy a lot of it, you gotta make sure you put the top on every time you take some pieces out, because that will really keep it soft. Okay. So yeah, so one question I'm gonna have is how soft is this stuff? It doesn't feel like terribly soft, but I don't think it's ever that soft to the touch. So not surprising. I have had all of these flavors before. One time I bought a bucket of gum, and I'm gonna try watermelon. Oh no, that's apple. I'm gonna try watermelon first. It's gonna be by far my least favorite flavor. One time I bought a bucket of gum that had like these three flavors, and then you know, the pink traditional flavor. All right. Yeah. This flavor is just not my cup of tea. I mean, I generally hate all artificial watermelon flavor, but this is just, I don't know, it's weird. It's almost got like a little chemically kind of taste to it. So even if you like that, you know, kind of watermelon Jolly Rancher flavor, you might not like it. And you know what's funny? Well, I'll keep chewing while I talk about this, but what's funny to me is it's this watermelon flavor. I should hold this so you know what I'm talking about. This watermelon flavor one has, you know, a very distinct like tartness to it. I'm sure that all of their flavors generally will have some like citric acid or some other kind of acid in there to provide some tartness. But, you know, watermelon doesn't have any tartness. It's like the cotton candy of fruits. So when they make watermelon flavor stuff, like, they always add frickin' tartness to it, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't taste anything like watermelon, because watermelon is not tart unless you get like a super unripe one, and it's just disgusting. So what they should do is make a watermelon flavor of this cotton candy one, and that actually might taste like watermelon. I don't know. All right. Next up, we'll do apple. And then I'm going to rank. Actually, what we need to do is, Jesus, I get, you guys, this is crazy. Look at this. I got one cherry in that freaking thing. I was gonna like line up, you know, one of each gum flavor, but I don't have another cherry. I only got one, and I hate it. So I can't include cherry, but I guess it probably wouldn't be among my favorites, so that's okay. Alright, so we get that. So like maybe we'll line up kind of one of each to the extent we have more than one. Good, clear my throat again, but alright, so we've done that one, and we're about to do this one. Jesus. And then we'll do that one next. So, alright, well, here is a flavor that definitely will benefit from the tartness. Green apple. But once you get that flavor, it's pretty solid. Yeah. Definitely not like the strongest or most delicious, green apple kind of candy flavor. But I feel like with bubblegum, they're kind of limited as to how much flavor they can kind of pack in there. That's why often gum flavor goes away so quickly, I think. Okay. But that's a pretty solid one. Alright, now next is going to be one that probably is going to be one of my favorites because if you know, you know, folks. Grape gum is one of God's greatest creations. And especially if you've had the magical, mystical Big League Chew in grape flavor that lasts all of like 35 seconds, but it's the most delicious 35 seconds you'll ever, have on the baseball field. All right. So, my overall impression of all of these double bubble wrapped gums is that they all kind of taste a little bit off. They have sort of a chemically taste to them. And the flavor is not particularly strong, of the fruit. So that's definitely working against them. But I would say among the three, I still probably prefer this just because grape gum is just so delicious in general, no matter what. It's like hard to F it up. But it's definitely not my favorite grape flavored gum, I'll tell you that much. You know what? I was just thinking, what they need to make, and maybe they do, but I've never seen it, and it's probably not something that's widely available if they do make it, but, they need to make like a dentine or an orbit that's grape flavored. I think that would be like really cool. And they make like bubblegum flavor of, every sugar-free gum, like, dentine, what's that one that Wrigley makes? Oh man, I can't remember. I don't know, but like Trident is another one. They all make bubblegum flavor, right? And that's just kind of like a fun kid sort of flavor. Why not make grape? They make so many crazy flavors of sugar-free gum now. Like I've got one that's like tropical. It's like pineapple, citrus, something else. It's very good, by the way. But yeah, why don't they make grape? That would be really good, I think. Oftentimes I feel like those sugar-free gums hold their flavor much, much, much longer than these like sugary gums. I think because the artificial sweetener just somehow sticks around longer. Alright, I think I'm gonna do the sour ones next, and there's 5 flavors, so I'm a little bit worried we're not gonna be able to get through all of them, especially if these are really sour. But we'll dive right in and see what happens. If like the first, 3 are terrible, I might not do all of them. Alright. So we've got lemon. we've got 1 lemon, which is crazy because that's like, I feel like in this extra sour product one that there should be a lot of. We've got cherry. Folks, what the? They gave me no cherries. We've got berry, which is, I think, blue. We've got a bunch of oranges, and we've got apples. So, what is going on? Double bubble. And I'll get multiples of the ones I have multiples of, but we literally got 1 lemon and 0 cherries. Well, folks, if you go to buy this in the store, I would look to see how many red ones are in there, because if you don't, you could get 0. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's ever happened to me. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. All right, let's go for lemon. Well, I hope it's not one of the best. Although I feel like a really nice sour lemon could be really good. So I'm a little worried I don't like it, but I'm not going to have one to put on the little trophy stand here. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, and just right about now, it's the sourness is, pretty much gone. But I got some water. Yeah, that is really quite sour. But it's very interesting. These sour ones do not have kind of like a harder, crunchier shell. They're actually quite soft. I suspect that's why maybe they're in these individual wrappings. But it's pretty intense, yeah. And I would say it's very unique, I feel, amongst these gums. The texture of it, the softness of it. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like the sourness comes from a powder. So it's like you're chewing through some powdery sour flavor at the beginning for the first, as they say on the package, like 40 seconds. Wow. Okay, well, I am not sure I'm going to try all of these, but I do want to try at least one other one because I'm very curious to see, if that lemon one was particularly sour, because lemon is normally more sour than these other fruits, or if they're all that sour. So I want to find that out, at least by trying at least one other, but I might not try them all. I might just sort of rate these all together. If the next one I try is like very sour. So I'm trying to think which one. I mean, I think like orange and apple are, particularly when it's green apple, are traditionally more sour flavors. So it makes me want to try the berry one because I think it might be the least sour, but I could be totally wrong. It could be just as sour as the lemon. I mean, it seems like they probably add the same amount of, citric acid or whatever. Okay. Alright, so it may have had the same amount of, sour powder on there, but as I sort of thought might be the case, it's much more like sort of complementary to the overall flavor of the gum. When you have a sweeter flavor or a traditionally sweeter fruit flavor, kind of essence along with it, whereas with lemon, the flavor of the lemon doesn't really cut against the sourness. It doesn't like sort of complement it as much as sort of a balancing kind of, factor as with this. So overall, I found this to be much better than the lemon. And actually, the intensity of the sourness with the flavor of the berry really was quite pleasing. That's what she said. And overall, this was just a much better flavor than the lemon one, no question. So that was a positive result, and I think that's going to give me enough courage to try at least one of the last two flavors. I'm trying to think which one would be best. Probably I kind of want to try both, you guys. I don't know. Let's get the orange going. By the way, I'm spitting these gums out. You probably haven't heard that, but I'm not just like making a giant ball of, gum cocktail, which would sort of defeat the purpose of a taste test. All right, I am a little worried this might kind of go back to the sort of, the potency of the lemon flavored one because it's another citrus fruit. But we'll find out. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, not as pleasant, I don't think, as this berry one. But I do love orange flavored candy. So it is a very intense orange that sort of kind of goes into excessive sourness in the same way the lemon one did. And therefore not as pleasurable as this one was. This one was like really good. I'd like to see like some of these sour flavors in flavors that feature fruits that are not traditionally that sour, like maybe like a strawberry or even like a grape could be interesting, because then I feel like you have a very interesting combination that might work really well together, as I think it did with that what is it, blue raspberry? Just call it berry, I think, yeah. Alright. Well, I guess we might as well, right, guys? I'm a little worried about this one. Again, because I don't know, I just think like, like a green apple can certainly be very tart. Whereas like an orange is typically not super tart. Like it's usually pretty sweet. I don't know. Alright, last flavor. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Folks, I took that one out. Oh God, that's awful. Oh wow, that was nasty. I mean, that tasted like straight frickin' turpentine. Bruh. What the fuss was that? I was like, I mean, so like with the lemon one and less so, but still a little bit with the orange one. The tartness is so powerful that you're kind of like, you're just kind of hanging on until it dies down a notch. enough that you can start to taste, and like any of the sweetness or fruit flavor. With that one, the sour flavor was both very intense sour, but also like this chemical nastiness that like I didn't even want to wait the 15 to 20 seconds for the sourness to die out. I was just like, get this out of my mouth, guys. Dang, that was gross. Oh, I mean, I'm sure it would, after the sourness goes away, it would be a little better, but the I don't know, it's interesting the like dynamics that are happening with that sourness in your mouth. Like, I feel like that level of that potency of sourness combined with other things has interesting kind of reactions that, I don't know, create like a flavor experience that's quite unique if you don't eat a lot of this sour stuff, which I don't. And sometimes that reaction is very interesting and positive, like the blueberry, like this berry one. And sometimes it tastes like, I don't know, just straight nastiness, like this apple one. So wow, thumbs way down on that one. Okay, folks. Last flavor. I feel like I've been punched in the face, because I've punched in the taste buds by that apple one. Man, that was just not good. Stay away. Alright, I'm gonna clear my throat. Alright, I'm gonna get a little drink here too. Alright, well this I'm looking forward to. Because I feel like we've done the super sweet, flavors with the cotton candy. We've done the traditional flavors with the, the wrapped, or the wax wrapped double bubbles, and then we've done these crazy super sour ones, and this is kind of a nice little, sort of way to wrap it all up. I'm sure it'll have a little bit of tartness from the orange flavoring and a little bit of mellowness from the vanilla flavoring that I presume is in here. And just a nice, easy kind of mixture of, all the good stuff we want in our candy flavors. So we'll put one there, and then we're gonna rate and rank all these. I think I know which one's last. That I know for sure. Okay. Well, it's funny, this strikes me as kind of closer to the cotton candy flavor profile than like the traditional bubble gum, or traditional wrapped double bubbles. So that's not quite what I expected. I mean, the flavor on this is also kind of not really like a dreamsicle. I haven't had a dreamsicle probably in like 30 years or something like that. If ever. I feel like I never really liked this idea of orange and vanilla together. That seemed like wrong to me when I was a kid, so I probably actually have never had one of these. I was actually thinking of like an orange Julius kind of flavor, which is, I think, similar. And it didn't really taste like that at all, which I did love orange Julius's when I was a kid. So, I don't know. That one was not nearly as good as I was hoping, but it also might taste a lot sweeter to me because I just had the super sour ones, so hard to say there. Alright, we are ready to rank here, folks. Yeah, so a few of these definitely, I think, struck me as much more pleasurable. flavors, and those two are going to be these guys. It's kind of ironic that one of the packages of gum here has, you know, a top two, you know, performer, and then the worst like thing I've ever put in my mouth in the same package. So I don't know. What can you do? Yeah, no. Which one of these? I don't know. I'm tempted to put this one just because I'm so used to this and I've had it so many times. And I don't know. It struck me when I was eating all the ones in this bag that it just kind of tasted sort of fake to me and like chemically artificial, shall we say. So I kind of want to put it in second for that reason, which is crazy. I did not expect to have one of these sour ones be one at the top, but I don't know. I'm going to put it as my top choice, guys. And then here, gosh, from there, I think I would go probably with the apple. Not a big fan of the apple flavoring here, but it's starting to be like I dislike these so much that I'm just picking, you know, the ones that I think are fairly solid now at this point. So, like this one, okay, that's the apple sour one. That's gonna be dead last. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might put this orange. This orange one was very intense, but I do like orange flavor, and I like sour orange flavor. Maybe not this sour, but you know, if you can hang tight, this orange flavor was not. This is the orange dreamsicle one. Not nearly as interesting. So I think I'm probably gonna like put the watermelon next to last. And then, gee whiz, which one of the cotton candies? I don't know, the lemon pledge one was not a great experience. I'm probably gonna do the blue one. I think the blue raspberry, yeah. And then the dreamsicle one there. So I think that's the order, guys. Best and worst were two of the sour ones. It's kind of a shame I didn't get any of the cherry sour ones. I feel like that might have been like a top 2 or 3 performer, because I could see that cherry flavoring, if it's, you know, done right, going, you know, really nicely with a super sour kind of flavor. But we'll never know, because there's no way I'm buying those things even to get my, you know, berry flavored sour gum on there. So there you have it, folks. That is all of the gum that I could find, other than the plain, at the local Dollar Tree. They also had bags of like the little gumballs, like the smaller size gumballs, in the flavors that I had in that giant box that I've been working through for the last like 3 years. I didn't get that one, so basically the most basic ones I left on the shelf, and this was really the remainder of all the gum options, which is quite a few. I mean, gee whiz, you are not lacking for gum variety at your local Dollar Tree, folks. Well, that's what we got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're new to the channel and you're still watching, thank you very much, and please hang out with us again if you're into sports cards, or I don't know, toys or candy or whispering content in general. That is what we do. Alright, we'll see y'all next time. Have a good one.